Hey guys, I thought I'd record some footage. I'm in my music room in my basement studio, working on some sessions. So, if you watch my videos, you know I do a lot of organ playing in church. Is probably what I do most frequently music-wise. But the second most frequent thing I do musically is I do recording sessions, and I generally don't get a lot of footage of that, so I think a lot of people don't realize that. Since I've got my music room set up in my house, I don't even have to leave my house to do that. For a while, I was going to an actual studio, and then for the longest, Todd and I have had a home studio at Todd's house. And the home studio at Todd's house, you've seen some footage there. I have recorded some footage there, and it's been great because he's got all sorts of really nice sounding stuff, and just a great recording rig, and everything about that is great. But it's really nice to be able to do it without leaving my house. So, since I moved and I have a music room, I'm able to do everything that I need to do here, which is great. Got my second laptop with Cubase on it. Got myriad interfaces and preamps. Got the organ, so I can do organ tracks, which is the biggest difference here. I could do all the rest of this out of the condo, but I had to set it up every time. So a few things are different than they would normally be. A bunch of stuff is pulled out and miswired, not miswired, but like wires are pulled out and stuff like that because I was trying different preamps and different interfaces, so the organ's pulled out a bit and the wires, it's a little bit messy down here. Then I have all the lights on bright just to make sure you can see me. Normally I would not have all the lights on bright if I'm working on music. I'd have it more atmospheric. And so that you can hear what I'm working on, I've got it set so my headphone amplifier is going through my computer speakers. Which are not studio monitors. They're not, what's the word? They're not flat. In fact, they're quite bass heavy and quite treble heavy. They're not accurate at all. But normally I just use headphones, and I don't need studio monitors. And in fact, it's better not to because I don't have to worry about feedback and bleed and all of that. So for this, we're going to have the computer speakers on so you can hear what I'm working on. And normally I've got 4 different headphone outputs, so even if I have other people down here working with me, we can plug in 4 sets of headphones and all have individual outputs and levels and such. So that's what's happening right now. I'm working on a track for a production company that I've been working with for at least 10 years called Ray Rob Productions. They, we did the music that's the background on my YouTube, what's the thing, the channel video, where you go to my channel in there, and there's the bowling song. That was actually used by a song that was very popular on Dallas radio. There's some artist from Texas bought that track, and it was very popular in Texas, but they of course added vocals and things. We just sold them the instrumental track. Nia uses a lot of the music on her channel. We've had some music in a Lifetime movie. We've had some music in a gospel movie that was done by the girls from Mary Mary. If you are familiar with gospel music, you might know them. Them and their sister, I think, or one of the sisters. Just a bunch of people from that family did a movie, and some of the music got used in that. So, yeah, Ray Rob Productions has put out some tracks that have gone places. And I've been working with them for years. Ray, the head producer, sends out a track that has majority of what he wants done on it, and then I add guitars and organ and send it back, and then sometimes he'll add more stuff or take out stuff or change things, or sometimes that's it. And it gets mixed and mastered and sent on, and sometimes he'll work with a vocalist and produce the vocals. Oh, I forgot. He's also one of the producers for a group from Norway called Nico and Vins, and one of our tracks got given to them, although it hasn't come out yet, and who knows what's going to happen to it. But it's actually probably one of my favorite tracks that I've done with this thing, and I'm going to try to find some way to show you that music just in case it doesn't come out. But I don't want to put it out there and then they use it, and then it's a big that caused a problem for us. Anyhow, so I'm working on a track for us, and I've already laid one guitar. I usually start with my 335 because it's got a very thick, mellow sound that sits well in the mix, so I'll lay my first rhythm guitar with that. One of the tricks that I was learned is always use different guitars for different tracks, so that even if you're playing different stuff, or even if you're playing the same stuff, where's my water? Because my throat's... Excuse me, I'm still getting over that flu. So, if I use different guitars, then I don't have to worry about stuff clashing as much, because even if I'm playing similar or different stuff, it's going to be in different sonic space. So that's a very... The 335 is a very thick, mellow guitar, and then the next I go to the Prince guitar, which is the exact opposite, which is very bright and thin. And if I only use one, this is usually my choice live, because it's funky sounding and it cuts through and it's very versatile. But in the studio, I found that really the fuller, mellower guitars work really well. And then my Strat back here with the humbucker and the bridge is my favorite for heavy distortion. And unless I'm doing like a metal thing, in which case I've got that Schecter, and I've got a bunch of different guitars, so I can use, you know, I try to, if I'm gonna do like 5 guitars, 5 guitar tracks, I'll try to use at least 3 or 4 different guitars and not 5 different guitars, so that they all are different. So I already laid a rhythm track, and now I'm gonna do a second rhythm track that's gonna be chords. And the first rhythm track, let me see here, I want to pan it left. Yep, it's pan left. So the second one's going to be panned right. So I'm not sure what I'm going to play yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to record, but I'm just going to fool around. And I almost never use my first fooling around track, but it gives me an idea of what I might want to do. So just see if you can. Yeah, you can hear. So you can hear that, right? That's the other guitar. That's this one. Flipping a little bit. Something like that, maybe. One idea. Another idea. I want this one to be with chords. So I got 2 different ideas there. Okay, so that's some ideas. That's just kind of a first attempt. So I'm going to listen back to it and see if I want to use any of that. I'm going to delete all of that. I got a mosquito bite here if you're wondering why I'm scratching at. That's the groove I want to go with. And actually, I'm going to delete, hold on a second. So I'm going to delete those two because that's not really necessary during that breakdown. So I might use some of that. If I decide to stick with that groove, I might use some of that. Okay, so that's some wrong notes there. So we're going to, so from here, we'll just start recording over again. I'm going to listen back to what I did at the beginning so I can try to match it. Sometimes your first instinct is good. So like I wasn't thinking about what I was going to play, I was just playing, and sometimes what your gut says to play works. So we're going to try to go with this groove because I like it. So, okay. So let's start where I start there, record. Wrong key. So a trick to recording is don't start playing in the wrong key. We're in A, which is not a key I would normally play in. Which is not an excuse to be in the wrong key. That rhythm's not working. That's the same rhythm as the other guitar, and I did it differently at the top, at the head. I gotta listen to it again. so that'll work. Hit save. But I have to cut off that last like tail because I played over the end. So where it goes chukka, gotta get rid of that. No more chukka. But there's still one extra hanging over. Okay, so we're good there. We'll use that for now. I can always go back and fix it later. So, I always give a lot of guitars because you just don't know. So let's do a wah next. Add track, audio instrument track, mono. And I will usually use the same guitar for the wahs for the chords because it's a very different. Making sure I'm not clipping. So let's see if I can fit a wah in there without it being too much like the other stuff. So let's go back to the beginning at the top of the song, back to the head.
It's a right back production.
Okay, so let's you know what? I don't think I'm feeling that ching-a-ding. I think we're gonna cut that. And we'll cut that and just let the other chords come in. And then so let's try again with the wah.
It's a right back production.
Sometimes I'm fine with the wah being a little different, but that one was too different. It is very hard to keep it consistent, though, I'll tell you that much. Okay. Let me figure out what I'm going to do. I'm going to start over with the wah, but let me figure out what I'm going to do when these other chords come in. Okay, so what I've decided is I think the wah doesn't need to be there when the other guitar is going. I think it needs to be opposite the one that goes, the chord one. So I'm going to try that. Whoops, I forgot to restart at the beginning. How are we doing on time? I was trying to let this go all the way till I start recording organ, but we might not make it there, and that's okay.
Considering that production.
One there. So once again, it helps to be in the right key. Yep, punch that in. But I'm actually going to do it a different chord. Do the same chord as the chucks. So. Let's just listen back and, oops, wrong thing. Just listen back and make sure. That could be cleaner, so let's do it again one more time. Okay, that was cleaner. So I'm just gonna let it record during the other part, and I might fool around a bit and just delete it. To do the Prince thing every turnaround, and I didn't do it that time. level S, and there was one part where I punched in, so let me go back and fix that. If I don't remember to do it now, I might not remember to do it. So right there is the punch. Right when I missed the Prince thing. Okay, so next up is distortion. Now this is not a track I would normally put a distorted guitar on, but my boss, the producer, asked me to cut loose, as he put it, so I will do a guitar solo at the end. Some tracks call for distortion. To me, this doesn't call for distortion, but you can always do a good guitar solo. I find guitar solos are the hardest thing to do in the studio because, for me at least, first of all, I'm not a solo guy. I'm a rhythm guy, I'm a session guy, I'm a guy that likes to do the stuff that makes it feel good, but not the stuff that's like the center of attention. But then also, like for me, when I do take a solo, it's all about feeling it. If I really feel the music, I can take a good solo. If I can't, then I take a sucky solo. And so, you know, a lot of it depends on what it's like live, if you're, you know, how it feels in the moment. Which I suppose is why I'm not a solo guy, because I'm not consistent with it. But in the studio, it's really hard to feel anything at all, because you're in the studio. It's very pristine and, you know. So we're just going to fool around and see what happens, just like the other tracks, and, you know, sometimes some good comes of it. So let's see how we are level-wise. Better there, but let me just go back again. I'm gonna Q's at 0. Let's try from here. I was not mad at that. So then usually what I like to do when I have one that I'm not like sure that I nailed it, but I'm also not mad at it, is I like to add a second one.